All right, this is now the repair for the starter replacement. I'm going to begin by removing these screws here, one there, and then this bolt here, and then there is a couple of that bolt over there, and then unplugging this, and then this is all that's required to remove the airbox. So first I begin removing the airbox. I won't show removing the airbox because I only have one hand. Anyway, thank you. So the next thing that I'm going to do is take off the airbox. I've done a video on this. Remove these 4 bolts, and then this cover comes right off. There's a little thing that you hold. There's a 10mm bolt here, and you just pull this off right here, and then undo this with a screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, and then that's about it. So that's the next step. All right, the box is off. So the next thing we're gonna do is we'll basically have to remove the intake manifold in order to get at the starter because it's buried deep inside. So the next step with the intake manifold is actually taking off the valve cover. So that's the next thing. The valve cover comes off. Well, it's not a valve cover, but it's more the plastic shield. So I've already taken off a couple of bolts. Alright, the valve cover has been removed. Now the intake manifold has to be coming off. So that's going to take some time. I'm going to begin by removing a couple of hose clamps. So one of the things I'm going to remove is actually this one right here. So, and everything has to be gentle here. So this one removed, this one will be removed, this will be removed. Anything basically attaching the intake manifold to this. So I'll remove this, that, see that? Takes off. This comes off like that. And then there's gonna be this one is to the fuel rail, what have you. I'm gonna remove all these various leads. So I remove that one. Let's see. And I'm gonna remove this one. So I'm gonna remove these ones, this one from here, because this is gonna go, and this one also, okay? Because this feeds right through, so I need to remove those two, okay? All right, I've removed these 2 leads because they were snaking through right here. You see right there, they're snaking in, and I had to use a little screwdriver here to pry them off very gently. So that's the first thing I just took off. Next thing I'm gonna take off is I'm gonna undo this hose. All right, the hose has been removed. Just squeeze down right here. Sorry, squeeze down right here and it comes off. Okay, so that's been removed, and I want to make that so this is very. So one thing about BMWs is they're very gentle. You have to be very gentle with them. The plastic can be very brittle, and just the nature of all cars now. So that's been removed. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the intake manifold part right here. Move that one off too, and I'm going to do that by loosening that screw over there. Camera zooms that one, and then also there's a back line right there. I'm going to move that one. All right, that elbow has been removed as well, and we're going to continue working and removing parts off of this car. So I'm going to disconnect these leads right here. So this thing right here, I'm going to use a screwdriver and everything. Right, this thing right here. This guy, okay? Alright, so I removed that. Now I'm gonna work on these 2 bolts right here. They're gonna come off, and we're gonna move this guy. This is look at this power steering reservoir. Move out of the way because this whole thing has to come out of the way. So these are rubber, so they can move around. Okay, so these 2 bolts right there. They look like 10mm. Anyway. Alright, that's been removed, so you can see they're off the pegs right there, and now we've exposed more of the intake manifold. So the next thing we gotta do is remove these hoses from this clamp right here. So right there, sorry. So remove those 2. This has to be pulled upwards, okay? I'm already doing it here, but yeah. So I've removed that one. Now I'm gonna move this one right here. You can see there is a same kind of deal right there. You see that? You just pull up, and it's like this kind of wedge shape there. You see that? See, it's out of its place. Same thing right there. This one has to come off now. Okay, so that's been removed. You can see now it's wiggly, and that just gives us clearance because that thing is attached to the intake manifold. Next thing I'm going to take off is this lead right here. I'm going to use a small little screwdriver to pry it off. Be very careful again. Alright, so I used a little screwdriver and I wiggled it out, and now I just pop it off. There we go. Another thing free. Alright, so the next thing we got to remove or wiggle out of the place. So this is the fuel rail. This, you see this hose where my finger is at? That's the fuel rail. Anyway, the fuel comes out, and this thing is attached to the intake manifold as well. There is a clip buried somewhere. I'm not sure if you can sort of see it right there. That thing. If that thing has to be undone, you'll figure it out by touching it. Be gentle, and it'll open up, and that'll free up the intake manifold some more. All right, so we got that one freed. The fuel rail line, that's all free. Now I'm going to free this thing. This red one is attached. There's a little clip right there. You just gotta push down. Again, it's by feel, and I'm sorry doing it. There, I just did it. Yeah, it just comes off. Very simple. Okay. All right. The next thing that needs to be freed is, it looks like a control. It's a lead to the throttle throttle module. It's right there. So again, be careful. Slowly pry that off. There's a little thing here. You press it and open. It goes forward. But yeah. All right. I did it. So right there. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo these bolts for the intake manifold. Also, when you replace the intake manifold, you have to replace the gaskets. So I bought replacement gaskets from FCP Euro. So this one has to remove. There's various 10mm bolts around the engine, so they have to be removed. Some will require deep sockets, but yeah, that's the next step. So after the intake manifold bolts are removed, you should also loosen. There's a hose right here, and it's part of the vac system again, I believe. Anyway, everything here is covered in plastic, very brittle, so it's like a squeeze kind of part, and you have to squeeze it. It's a little bit tricky, but this has to become undone too, right about here, right there. I'm not sure if you can see it, but right there, that thing. So that was a I'm not sure if you can see it in the camera, but right, I'm not sure if you can focus, but right there, I made it on. I've undone it. So it's this kind of tube right here. So this comes out. So I just pushed up here, and it comes off. Push this way. So once you've wiggled out, the intake manifold will come right off. All this will make it allowed to move. But now there's one last bit, right there. This has to be undone right here. This thing right here. All right. So it's using a screwdriver. There's a little bit you pull up, and then this comes right off slowly. So that's it. That comes off. So there's another thing that needs to be removed. It's right about there. There's another plug that's removed using a screwdriver, and I will pry it off. All right, I pried it off. Well, not pried off, but I put a screwdriver in. It's difficult to see, but there's another one right. Well, it's hard to see. Anyway, there's another one right there. You have to take my word for it. You can see it right there, and I'm gonna undo there. Comes right off. The other thing you have to remove is, I was trying not to remove it, but it looks like I have to remove. So I'm gonna remove these bars in order to get this out of the way. So there's a nut there you remove, and then there are these Torx bits that have to be removed. Alright, so that was an E20 that had to be here, an E16 that had to come out here, and now it's gone. So I also undid the alternator lead. Alright, I was not able, I figured, okay, I'm going to take out the intake, the throttle control module. So right there, I removed the throttle module. Comes out with 4 screws, 4 bolts, 10mm. I did that just to make clearance. I'm still having some issues removing the intake manifold, but still at it. Just as an update, I undid this little lead to get at the, see if I can loosen it some more. Alright, there is a T30 buried in here somewhere, and a T30 buried over there. If you move those two, the entire intake manifold will come off. But they're very delicate T30s that are made of aluminum. Watch out. Okay, so after removing those two bolts, which are really annoying, there is a vac line kind of thing. That's the only thing that's left holding the intake manifold. That's why I had to remove the throttle module. There's a vac line. You squeeze it together and it comes off. Okay, so the intake manifold has been removed. It required an extensive removal of this little hose right here. Actually, this was not necessary to remove, but now I have access to the starter, and that's this thing right here. I have taken off the negative battery cable, so there's no way I can electrocute myself or anything like that. I'm just going to undo the bolts. So there's a bolt here, there's a bolt over there, and there's another bolt over there in the reverse. Right there, that bolt where my finger's pointing, that has to be come out. They're both aluminum, and that's it. Actually, that's the only thing that holds the starter into place. And the reason I removed the intake manifold is to get access to those bolts easily, and I want to torque them properly. So here we go. Okay, so this is an let's see. So there's an E right there with a snug on, but E14 E-Torx bolt that goes in there, and then there is an E16 that's over there, right there where my finger's pointing. Now, you can use, I have this thing. Let's see if I can show it to you. It's a swivel head, and this is why I need it. Look at this. Look at that. See that angle? It's very difficult to use it. Now you can use open head screwdrivers, wrenches, sorry, open wrenches. I think like an E10 or E4. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I have this rotating bit that I got from Harbor Freight. That's how I access it. So, all right. So I've taken out the bolt, and now let's just fetch this. That's it. Comes right out, and there you go. There's the inside of my engine, or crankcase or whatever. Okay, so now the starter's in. I had to use a wrench, this thing, the T16. In order to get to that nut, I could not use a torque wrench. I torqued this one to like 20 Newton meters, and then another 90 degrees. This one I just tightened as hard as I could, because there is no way I can get a torque wrench in there. My torque wrench is too big, so I just tightened as hard as I could. Now just the reassembly is just reverse of everything else. Alright, so I'm now reassembled the car. Start has been put back in play. The battery is dead. I'm going to try to jump start the car now. Let's see. Actually, let's verify that the car is dead. Yep, there's no light at all inside the car. Nothing happening, everything dead. Okay. I've attached the jump starter. I'm going to hit there's a little boost button. Activate it. Oh. Let's see, there we go. There. Boost. All right. Oh, it's making a boom boom sound, whatever, the ding ding sound. All right, let's see. Perfect. Well, the car has not ran for a long time. That's not the starter, that's just my car. Ooh. Well, the car is just getting into rhythm. Okay, yeah, the jump starter kicked it in. The starter, I changed the starter, and everything's working, thankfully. Okay, that's it. Perfect.